What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10 Bay. Today we are going to do a paid review of statesplace. She purchased a review from my eBay store. If you guys are interested in that, there's a link below. Let's get straight into it. Nicole has a YouTube channel. She's been selling for a long time. Let's take a look at her store. 978 items for sale. I'm going to go in here and check out sold. So 978, you can see almost 1,300 items sold. I've reviewed over 200 stores now, and there's only been 3 stores with over a 30% sell-through rate. So if you are trying to learn how to do quick flip, this would be a model that you want to check out, because she sells things literally faster than 95% of people that I have seen. So you can see right away she has free shipping, free returns. That is an option that you can do. She's done all the things that you can do to speed up your listing. And I'm going to go over a couple of things that I noticed right away that do work. And she has employees and staff, so they're doing this right. Specifically, her titles are awesome. You got brand, gender, you have item specifics, you have size, you have descriptions, you also have clear, bright photos. There's one thing that I would do to improve the photos, and that is potentially get an illuminated background. Now, there's a couple of caveats with that. I'm going to show you Brian's store. Brian has some of the best photos I have ever seen. It's basically the same setup as Nicole, except for he has a lit background. That's going to give your photos more pop and make it look ridiculous. I seriously don't see pictures that are this good ever, right? So when you're trying to get a super professional looking store, you want a lit background, but there's a couple caveats. One of the major caveats is that you're going to have higher returns. That's because the items look unbelievable. So if you're going to sell pre-owned items and you want a lit background, you're going to command a much heavier price. So you can see here, this is almost the opposite store. It's all long tail items, and the average sale price is over $100. So 5,000 items listed is around $500,000 worth of stuff on eBay. Now, of course, this model is not achievable for a lot of people because the cash flow is really slow. When you set up an item like this, if you have overhead, a warehouse, employees like Nicole does, it may not work because you need a fast churn so that you can pay bills with the capital. So my recommendation on product mix is to start peppering in more home run expensive items. Keep the cash flow stuff like this in so you can pay your bills and get things rolling, but start slowly adding in a product mix of items that are $40 plus, and let those sit. Don't cheap sell those items. Build up an inventory so you can get to the point where you're selling tons of those every day. So I was looking at the product mix here. There are less than 50 items that are over a $40 ASP, which makes it challenging to do a lot of revenue. You have a lot of sales, but not a ton of revenue coming in. And that's about, from judging by your listings, $20,000 to $30,000 worth of stuff listed in your eBay store. So that's going to be challenging, because if you want to do 10K or 15,000, you have to sell up to half of your entire inventory to reach that revenue amount. And I think that you're not fully capitalizing on the value of your picking ability. In order to sell items as fast as Nicole does in this store, you have to be a really good picker. She has retail experience. She's been doing eBay for a long time. She follows all the rules that would normally get you to that point. That's why her sell-through rate is so high. So a couple more ideas on pictures. Sometimes they're square and sometimes they're not. I would definitely try to do square photos if you can, because it optimizes the mobile experience. One thing for your listers, if they're researching descriptions, you may want to actually type into Google the name of the item and see if it pops up in the search results. And the better it does, then you can sort of understand which keywords would yield the best traffic. So I'm going to give you an example here of an Eileen Fisher pair of pants. On photos, I'm going to give you one more suggestion. So in your store, I see photos that look like 2 different ways. One is this, where it's a little bit warm. You can see that around the item is not super white, and that's okay. It's totally fine. This photo is still bright. It's still easy to see the issues, but there are other items that look a little bit blown out, like they're oversaturated. I'll see if I can find an example. Maybe this one slightly, this Kate Spade dress is actually it's not, this one is perfect. But if you overexpose it a little bit, it's gonna make the color look a little bit different. What I would recommend is, I think I have the same lighting kit as you. I would turn down the brightness and then turn up the contrast on your camera. That might be a setting. So this is an example of searching for one of your listings. So I have a pair of Raleigh jeans. I put it into Google to see if it pops up. I'm the 5th result. So I get to pull this up to get an idea of where my listings rank on Google, because that's super important to take a look. But as you can see here, I have my lights turned on the lowest setting and the contrast the highest, so it looks a little bit more natural in the photos. I don't always do white background because I think that it makes the return rate really high, and I'm not super interested in making my items look that good. But there are some huge advantages of doing white background, like showing up higher in the Google ranking. So I would just say turn down the light brightness so that your photos look a little bit more natural, because sometimes they look a little bit blown out with the color. But that being said, some of the photos look perfect, so I think you just need to adjust it to make it as consistent as possible. Seems like your flat lay photos sometimes are a little bit overexposed, but that's just my thoughts. Okay, so one thing I would add on your descriptions is, let me go to a pre-owned item here. Let's look at this. This dress. I recommend at least 6 photos. Most of your items have 6 photos, some don't. So maybe create some type of consistency so that your listers have a process each time, because I think 6 photos will help you stand out from the big guys who only do 1 or 2 photos. So since we can't compete with these gigantic sellers in volume, we've got to do a better job of being attentive to detail. Because from what I have seen, the larger sellers sell things for cheaper, and they don't do very much work, and it's new. So you're competing against people who are selling brand new items for $20 or less, free shipping, free returns, but a horrible experience. Like there's only 1 or 2 pictures. And so you have an opportunity to stand out from the rest by having 6. Down here in the description, most of the time you have measurements, and this one you do not, but I want you to add a blurb that gives people an idea of who you are. So let's say, thank you for supporting small business. Please measure your favorite items to compare with the measurements so that we can make sure it's a proper fit. That's reduced returns a ton for me. Asking my buyers to literally measure their items before they check with the measurements on my items so that I can make sure that it fits right. Also, I may add the measurements in the condition description. That's up to you. The reason why I do that is I think it's important for people to recognize that the measurements may make the item a different size. So if people wash it or they hem it or something, it's going to be a different size. So I think that's relevant to put in the item description. Says large but measures more like a medium. These are the measurements. Please check before purchasing. Save us both. You don't have to say to save us both time, but that's the idea behind doing that. Okay. There's a couple things that you're doing that I really like, which is running a sale, and then you're also combining that with a promotion. So save up to 30%. You also have a buy one, get one. So this is the maximum way to get the most exposure, would be running a sale, a markdown, also combining with the promotion, and on top of that, running a type of promoted listings to get yourself to show up in the listings as a promoted guy. That is the triple trifecta for getting the most exposure. I would be very surprised if statesplace is not running at least 1% on all her items to get the sell-through to be really high. So you've got the quick flip on lock. I would just add in more home runs to grow your store. And those are the items that you can sit on for a while and fully get the full amount for the item over the course of, I was going to ask your opinion on this, but up to 1 year is the sales cycle for some clothing stores. They want to go through all 4 seasons in their home run items. Now, if you're selling something for a quick flip under $30, you want it gone. But for the home run items, maybe give it 4 quarters to marinate in the eBay system. And we all know that eBay throttles traffic. So you're not going to have 100% sell-through, because that's not how it works on eBay. They're not going to they rotate the traffic to everybody so that everyone has a fair shot. So I think if you raise your prices a little bit, it might be worth the slowdown in sell-through, just a tiny bit. Not telling you how to run your business, but I think that you would get a similar sell-through rate if you asked $2 or $3 more, and you can adjust that. So in the bulk listings, you can have your employees have a process where maybe one day they subtract $1 from every listing, the next day they add $2 to the listing. I know active listings definitely plays a part in Cassini rankings. So if you put that into your system where you change all your listings a dollar less or a dollar more or a penny less or a penny more. You're tweaking the system and you're going to show up higher in the best match from what I have seen. So that looks super good to me. So just as a summary, I would go with a lit background if you want to achieve this super crispy background like this. I would focus on putting in the home run items and mixing it in so that you can get to a higher amount listed. I would like to see a store of your caliber with your buying prowess to at least $100,000 listed. And that being said, if you have $100,000 listed, even at your rate, that's $40,000 a month in sales. So for you, the key is getting more stuff listed or more expensive stuff listed. So rather than focus on number of items, let's get the ASP up if we can. You're also, I know that you're one of the best buyers I know, so you may want to focus more on new with tags. That's optional. I know you sell some new items, but obviously moving into the new with tags category, you're going to bump your ASP through the roof. Just make sure that the profit margins are like really big. And the reason why I say that is because the profit margins on your thrifted goods are insanely high. So you want to make sure to maintain that and just slowly pepper in these expensive items. Your fast flip is awesome. So the next one is the short blurb. Let people know you're a small business. Ask them to do measurements before. This is up to you. Just for me, it's helped me reduce returns from 5% to like 3%, asking people to measure their favorite items. The next one is I recommend you use Text Expander or a shortcut tool to give you pre-filled out things for women's tops, blouses, meaning like we measure our blouses, the length from the bottom of the collar to the bottom of the shirt. Pre-populate those so that you can do those quickly, because I noticed looking from listing to listing, sometimes the measurements look different, sometimes they don't. But if you have a pre-populated thing, it'll bring some consistency to the store. And those shortcuts are good for your employee, because I noticed a couple of typos, like gently used. I noticed gently is spelled wrong sometimes, which means to me that she's typing out gently used, no flaws, which is a waste of time. You want to enter in like 0111, and that will populate that whole thing for her to save her more time. Again, more time means more listings going up or a higher quality listing. And then the final thing, this is a tip that I recommend for you specifically because you sell so much stuff, thousands and thousands of items per year. I think you should send an affiliate link thank you card to your customers. So it's like, instead of saying, come back to my store for a 10% discount, maybe you have one super premium item in your store, or you find an eBay top deal and you're like, hey, please check out my store, but I just want to let you know that if you click on the eBay homepage, there is a deal on, let's look here. There's a deal on this Versace cologne, right? It's a really, really good deal. It's actually, let's use this Samsonite example. Would you believe this brand new Samsonite deal is only $200 for a $500 luggage, brand new? This is a really good deal. Check it out. By the way, this is an affiliate link. Then your thousands of customers will go to eBay using your link to see the deal, which you've enticed them to do it, and you get a commission off of the, you're familiar with affiliate income, but I think you and I have a huge opportunity to do that because we sell so many items. We might as well have people shopping and earning us income. So hopefully that was useful, Nicole. Thank you for purchasing a review. Everyone follow statesplace on YouTube and Instagram and check it out. I don't have any affiliation with any other resellers, and I don't really have an opinion on any other resellers. So I think everyone should just worry about themselves, spend more time working on you, and things will be great. Hope everyone's having a great day. Take care.